Okay, so now in this video, we will talk about the stock movements. All right, so it's very important to discuss the stock adjustments. Now, normally goods and services are sold for a profit, which means that there's a difference between the cost price and the selling price. But there is movement in stock. Sometimes the stock is coming in the business, sometimes the stock is going out of the business. And there will be some stock which we can call as opening stock and some as the closing stock, which will be at the end of the year. So we'll discuss how should we record the movement of stock or inventory. Okay, so we can classify the movement of stock into these headings. So we will say purchase of stock is when the business is buying goods. So we can say in this case the goods or your asset stock is increasing. There will be an increase in your asset. Similarly, when there is sale of goods or sale of stock and you're selling stock over here, in this case, you can say your goods, which is your asset again, is decreasing. We'll also create a separate category for return inverse, which is an instance when the stock has been returned by the customer. So let's say you sold goods, now the customer is returning back that stock. This will be called return inverse. In this case, the goods are coming back to the firm, so I can say goods asset should increase. And in the last case, we'll say return outwards when the business returns goods to suppliers. So we purchase goods and now we're returning those goods back to our suppliers. So I can say in this case, my stock of goods is decreasing since I'm sending the goods back to my supplier. Okay, now our job over here is that how should we record these entries for all the cases: purchases, sales, return inwards, and return outwards.
Quick pause. If you're finding value in this explanation, there's so much more to discover. At Alt Academy, we break down every A-level concept with the same level of clarity. Now, let's continue.
Okay, so let's start off with purchases. So now when we talk about purchases and purchase of stock, so the first case I'm going to take a look at is if we buy stock purchases on cash. Now I can say purchases refers to, as we just discussed, goods going up. The business gets additional goods. We can think of goods to be an asset. So I can say purchases will be debit. That's my asset going up. But on the other hand, my cash asset is going down because the business is using cash to buy these stocks. So I can say asset purchases goes up, that's debit, and cash asset goes down, which is why cash will be credit over here. Now, what would happen if you would buy these purchases on credit? I would want us to solve this together. So again, I'm going to say the same thing. I will say purchases should be debit. That's buying stock again. That should be debit over here. I can write this. Now, what should be credit? We are not using our cash, but this time we're buying goods on credit. So, which means that we are buying goods from supplier, but we haven't paid them as yet. That becomes a liability or trade payable. So, I can say my trade payable over here should be credit. So the difference between these two entries is if we buy it on cash, our cash goes down, which is asset going down. And if we buy that on credit, that creates a liability called trade payable. That should be credit. We can also think of purchases to be an expense for the business since the business will buy goods every year. And we remember that expense is also debit in nature, which is why purchases will be debit. Okay, now let's take a look at sales. What will happen with sales? Okay, now if there is sale of stock, now you're selling your stock. So the first thing I would want to think of is that if I sell my stock, that refers to goods going down, which is my asset going down. So I can say sales should be credit since your asset is going down. If you sold this on cash, your cash asset should go up because you're getting cash. So I can say in this case, cash increases. So I can say cash should be debit, which is asset increasing, and sales should be credit because your goods are going down. And what would happen if we sold these goods on credit? In this case, sales should be credit because your goods are going down. But in this case, you are not getting the cash. Instead, you are selling on credit, which means your customer owes you. So now we can create an asset called debtor, or as we call it, trade receivable. So trade receivable should be debit because this asset is increasing. In this case, we got our cash, so I could write cash debit. In this case, I did not get the money, but I created an asset called trade receivable. So I can say trade receivable should be debit, sales should be credit. Just like purchases, we can also think of sales to be our income. Why is that? Because we will keep on selling every year. So that's a recurring income for us. And remember, income should be credit in nature. Okay. After purchases and sales. What about return inwards? In this case, the customer has returned goods to you. So I can say when the customer sends back goods, we also call this to be sales return. That means the stock of goods should increase. So if your stock of goods should increase, that means your asset is increasing. So I can say return inwards should be debit since goods go up and goods is an asset. But as a result, the customer will now pay you less. So you guys can also think of it like this, that your trade receivable will now pay you less. He was supposed to pay you the entire amount, but now since he has returned part of that good, he will pay you less. So I can say my debtors or trade receivable should be credit since my asset goes down. All right, so the entry over here should be return inwards should be debit since the stock of goods increases, but your trade receivable should be credit since your asset goes down in this case. This is for return inwards and sales return. Okay, now the last one we should discuss is return outwards. Now, what happens in return outwards? That the firm would return goods to suppliers. So, over here, we are returning some of the goods to our supplier. So, I can say that the stock of goods should decrease from our warehouse since we're sending back some of that good. So, goods again was our asset. So, I can say return outwards should be credit. Return outwards, by the way, is also known as purchases return, something you guys should be used to. So I can say stock of goods is going down. So return outwards or purchase return should be credit since our stock is going down. But now, as a result, since you're returning some goods to your supplier, your liability towards trade payables will also decrease. You will have to pay less. So I can say creditors or my trade payables, as we call it, should be debit since our liability goes down. In this case, your liability is decreasing. All right, so now all these entries revolve around the stock movement. So you guys should always think about what is happening to our stock. Is your stock of goods increasing? Is your stock of goods decreasing? If your stock of goods is increasing, that should be a debit entry. If your stock of goods is decreasing, that should be a credit entry, because as we know that goods is our asset.
Our complete A levels accounting course is waiting for you on our website. In addition to accounting, you can also find business, economics, maths, and 4 other full A level offerings. So, thousands of students who've already unlocked their potential. Visit All to Get Me right now.